Hey, what's up out there, Kraken fans? A little bit of a quick morning cup of Kraken for you today. Got to head out on the road. Figured I'd pop in, give you a little update, talk about the game last night, look at some of the scores from around the league like we like to do, check in on the standings, and take a little bit of a look forward. So if you're, tuning in live, that'd be great if you want to chat with me. If not, maybe catch me in the replay a little bit later in your day. Tough one last night for the Kraken. They really looked like an expansion team. I thought Vegas did a really good job clogging lanes. Their defense it just felt suffocating at times. They fall 5-2. Jack Eichel had 2 goals. He's starting to get hot for Vegas. Kind of heating up, getting into a little bit of a groove, settling in to the lineup now. And man, Logan Thompson shut out the Kraken the prior game and was still shutting them out through 2 periods last night. You were just waiting for the Kraken to break through at some point. They finally got one there in the third, but yeah, 5 periods of shutout hockey for Logan Thompson. Really good job by him. So the Kraken get swept by the Vegas Golden Knights in that season series, and it helps propel Vegas a little closer to possibly making the playoffs. It's going to be really tight. We'll look at the standings here in a couple minutes. They're just 1 point ahead of Dallas now for that second wildcard spot, but if you look at the games in hand that Dallas has, they're going to be swinging up the West Coast this weekend. I think they're in San Jose tonight and then in Seattle tomorrow. So those are really critical games for Dallas. Going to keep my eye on that as I go out on the road for a little work trip of myself. It was good to see the Kraken finally break through there in the third period. Alex Winberg got his goal. I think that was the 9th of the season for him. Nice little pass from Jared McCann. Jared played a great game last night, trying to get the guys rallying, got into that fight. And we also saw Cole Lind score his first career goal with 1:38 left in the game there. So, actually, I might have messed that up. I'm not as prepared today, but, sometimes that's the way it goes when you just jump on live. I do want to mention, on Twitter, Chris Mast, he is a photographer, and he got a really great shot of Cole Lind celebrating right after that first goal. If you're on Twitter, go check that out. Check that account out. He's a great photographer. So if we look at the stats, oops, I skipped ahead too far there to the scores. If we look at the stats a little bit for last night, face-offs, Seattle did a little better in the face-off circle, so they 52.7%. So that's good. If we're looking for bright spots, I know it's hard to do that at this point of the season. Seattle got 2 power plays. Vegas had 1. It seemed like, I don't know that the hits stats there. 31 hits for Seattle versus 9 for Vegas. That's probably my least favorite stat, but that's all right. Although I will say that Seattle, they tried to up their physical game a little bit, and again, you saw McCann trying to rally the guys late in the game there with that fight. That was probably the highlight of the night for me, honestly, seeing him, a guy that doesn't usually fight, drop the gloves and try to get his team rallying behind him, so that was cool. Shot-wise, Vegas just really opportunistic again. I didn't think Grubauer was, he wasn't amazing. A couple of little leakers got through there, but Vegas with 26 shots, Seattle with 28, and you can see, fairly even throughout the game. It looked like Vegas had a little bit of an edge in the first period. Maybe not super early, but as it went on. And then they just started stifling Seattle throughout the night. Just seemed like Seattle, again, could not get into the interior of the ice in the offensive zone. Couldn't get pressure on Thompson. A lot of outside, tough angle shots, not in high danger chance areas in the offensive zone. So your 3 stars last night. Logan Thompson, again, great performance by him. Back-to-back performances in Seattle. And then you've got Robin Leonard about to come back from IR, so it'll be interesting to see what Pete DeBoer does between the 2 goaltenders that are going to be available to him there. Jared McCann, second star. You know, this is Morning Cup of Kraken. It's still technically morning. I hope you're drinking coffee. If you're tuned in now or later, I like to do this in the morning. I like to get my coffee, my caffeine, give a little bit of an update, kind of settle into my day. Anyhow, thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate the support. Like and subscribe. So Jared McCann, second star. He had an assist. He just played a really spirited game last night, like we've talked about a couple times. And then Jack Eichel, third star there, 2 goals. And again, he's really starting to kind of settle into his own there for the Vegas Golden Knights. Be interested to see how he does as we move forward. So, you know, let's take a look at the scores around the league. You had Tampa knock off the Chicago Blackhawks. They did a little bit of a ceremony for Tyler Johnson and his return to Tampa. Really kind of a cool thing there. He played great for Tampa while he spent time there, so maybe check that on Twitter too. The Rangers lost to the Islanders 3-0. I think if I read the quotes right, Gerard Gallant for the Rangers, he was not pleased. I believe the quote was, "We were horse shit." So I guess that means they didn't play very good, and the score reflects that. Islanders 3, Rangers nothing. Honestly, I thought the Rangers were going to be a little bit of a dark horse, but they're kind of struggling and meandering around a little bit right now. I'm not really sure what to expect from that team as we go down the stretch. Oilers win in overtime over the Blues. And Edmonton is happy right now. Evander Kane playing good. Connor McDavid playing good. Jay Woodcroft really doing a good job kind of getting those guys headed in the right direction down the stretch here. So coming into the year, I really thought Edmonton was going to be a team to beat, along with Vegas. And now they're starting to kind of get that momentum going and getting hot towards the playoffs. There's definitely something to be said for that. Calgary also going to be tough, but Anaheim knocks off the Coyotes 5-0. Trevor Zegras got that cool Michigan-style goal again. I guess it upset Jay Beagle. He started to go after him and Troy Keller, and a little bit of a dust-up at the end of the game there. I mean, you've got young stars scoring, and we talk about this a lot. You hear kind of the old guard complaining about, you know, showboating and that type of, you know, kind of showing off and high skill type stuff. But I like to see it. I mean, I understand you're gonna have to take your lumps if you're gonna be a little fancy, but I don't think we need guys like Jay Beagle going off and going after younger skilled talent in the league like that. What's up, Jim? I saw you log in here saying Vegas Golden Knights definitely have the Kraken's number. Very solid 3-way zone play. Frustrating to play against. Definitely true. It's kind of has that signature Pete DeBoer feel to it right now. Just stifling defense. They're getting really good goaltending and steady offense throughout. So they're going to start, you know, kind of changing things a little bit as we go down the stretch and they get some of their guys back off injury. You're really curious to see how they do if they make the playoffs, right? So that's the big problem now. Maybe they waited a little too long to turn on the Jets. Jim says, by the way, I've had my double French roast pressed already, so I'm good. Nice. I'm actually drinking a pretty cheap cup of coffee today. I usually try to go a little more upscale, but I just didn't have time. Like I said, I'm not very prepared this morning. But I'm going to be gone for about 5 or 6 days, so I just kind of wanted to hop on here and do my thing for a little bit. So thanks for dropping by, Jim. I was going to check out your guys' podcast today. Looks like you just released that. If you guys aren't familiar, that's Kraken Fancast on Twitter. They do a podcast. They do a great job over there. I think they have a YouTube channel too, but I think most of if I'm not mistaken, Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, most of your content comes through your podcast. So pretty cool stuff there. Jim actually stops by the show every now and then, and like to have him on live a couple times, maybe here in the future. So scores. I kind of covered the Anaheim-Arizona thing there. Buffalo gets another win against Nashville, so they've played a little bit better down the stretch. Ottawa and Detroit. Ottawa with a 5-2 win there, and of course the Kraken fall 5-2 in that second game against Vegas, that home-and-home series. So a little disappointing. You know, you want to see the Kraken eventually beat Vegas, but you're going to have to wait till next year for that to happen. Because we're officially eliminated from the playoffs. That happened a couple nights ago. So standings-wise, out in the East, so, I mean, I've got the Islanders on there showing you, I'll turn this down just a little bit. Got the Islanders down there, but they're not going to get in. They're at 71 points. So it's essentially bouncing back and forth between, you know, Boston and Toronto in that third spot. They're really close, neck and neck, both at 67 games played. Toronto has the edge right now at 91 points. Looks like the Caps are at 84. They're in that second wild card spot. So I don't know if they're going to be able to climb out of that hole. They'll probably remain in the wild card positioning. And then you've got Carolina with 98 points, neck and neck with Florida. Those teams are scary good. Rangers kind of flailing around a little bit, but they're still a strong team. They're a big team too. We got to see them come into Seattle and push the Kraken around a little bit. I think Gerard Gallant will probably light a little bit of a fire under them after that game last night where they got shut out. And Pittsburgh, you know, Sidney Crosby, Kenny Malkin, like those guys know how to play in the playoffs. Never count out the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're really good this year. 92 points with, you know, 41 wins on the year. And we're just down to the wire here. We got about, you know, anywhere from 12 to 15 games remaining for most teams. So it's going to heat up. Stay tuned. In the Pacific, we've got Calgary motoring along. They've got 89 points. Looks like I missed the top of the screen there. That's okay. We'll just cover the Pacific today. Pacific, Calgary, 89 points. Los Angeles, 84 points. Edmonton right in there, 83. So I think Edmonton and Los Angeles, they'll probably keep bouncing around. And then really, like we've talked about a few times, the thing to keep your eye on, I think, is the, you know, between Dallas and Vegas there. It looks like Nashville's right in that mix too. But they also have the games in hand on Vegas, just like Dallas does. Winnipeg kind of on the edge looking in, and I don't think the Canucks are going to get in this year. So some really interesting stuff as we head down the stretch. Let's take a little bit of a look at tonight's upcoming games. Oh, wait, that's also the wrong screen. Oh, well, you know, that's the way. Oh, no, that was the right screen. Okay, so it looked like when I captured that, it was, you've got Florida and New Jersey going right now. I guess I could take a look and see what the score is there. But tonight you've got Boston against Columbus at 4, Tampa and Montreal. Then you got Toronto facing Philly. Toronto probably should win that game, so that would keep them up in that third spot in their division. Boston chasing them again. Dallas on that West Coast swing. They're going to go into San Jose, and then tomorrow they'll be up in Seattle to face the Kraken. Stars really need those games if they want to eliminate Vegas as we get down closer to the end of the season here. Pretty good game in Colorado tonight, too. Pittsburgh going in to face the Avalanche. They've got McKinnon going. He kind of suffered that injury the other night, but it looks like he's going to be able to go. You got the Kings facing Winnipeg. Winnipeg trying to keep their hopes alive, so that could be a pretty contested game. I believe that's probably going to be on Hockey Night in Canada tonight. And then you've got another interesting matchup, Minnesota, who I'm keeping my eye on that team, and Carolina. That one's in Carolina this afternoon. And then St. Louis trying to get their trying to get things sorted out a little bit. They're going to go into Calgary tonight. And man, when you're trying to sort things out like they are, you're facing some pretty tough teams when you do that Alberta road swing. So see what they can do as we move down towards the end. So Dallas going to come in. Looks like. So right now it's projecting Scott Wedgwood in goal. I'd be interested more so in what the Kraken are do. Are they going to give Grubauer another start, or maybe Dreeks gets back in there for another one? I thought he played pretty good against Los Angeles in that game, and I don't know. We'll just have to see what Hackstall wants to do there. Kraken are 21-41-6 now. Dallas comes in 38-25-3, and like I've talked about a few times during this, going to be really tight contested trying to get those points to keep up with Vegas in the playoff race. So they got to use those games in hand to see what they can do. Dallas, they're kind of middle of the pack as far as goals and shots. Power play a little bit better. They're 11th in the league there, and they're a really good face-off team. As far as goals allowed go, kind of middle of the pack, 15th there, and they take. Let's see, their penalty kill isn't as good, 78% there, and I think we know where Seattle sits in most of those categories, so I won't I won't go too deep into that, but. Anyhow, so probably going to wrap this up here. I'm going to be back next week, probably Thursday, maybe Friday with another broadcast. And I just wanted to check in with you guys. Thanks for dropping by. It's a lot of fun to do these, and I appreciate the interaction. Jim, thanks for dropping in there and leaving a couple comments. I will catch you guys after that road trip I'm going on. Thanks again for all the support. Be sure to subscribe and like if you like what you're seeing. Keep coming back and do some new things here coming up when I get back, and a couple announcements and a couple of new segments I want to add to the channel. So I'm excited about that, and I'm always excited to have you guys along for the ride, and I appreciate all the support. So until then, have a great morning. Looks like the sun is out and there's no clouds, at least where I'm at. So, maybe get out there, enjoy the day a little bit, settle in for your hockey games tonight, and keep up with all the teams and everything going on around the league. And I'll talk to you guys here in a few days. Keep up with me on Twitter in the meantime, and we'll check you out, or we'll catch you out on another stream some other time. Thanks, guys.